Hello everyone. Today I wanted to do a walkthrough on my Jeep. That's the primary vehicle I use to go off-road, camping, and everything else that we do. It is a 2005 Wrangler Unlimited, commonly called an LJ. It's had a few things done to it before I bought it. Not done a few things to it since I bought it. It came with, when I bought it, it had a 3-inch Teraflex suspension on it. It does have 2-inch pucks as well. Gives it about 5 inches overall, which enables me to have 35 1250 tires. Currently they are the Milestar Patagonias. They're still fairly new to me. Steven's had a set for a couple of years, really likes them. And then many people out there are using them as well, and I've seen really good reviews. So I thought I'd give them a try. When you really use them off-road once, they do have good bite and loose terrain. So I'm excited to see just how well they do. I also did the Steinjager crossover steering upgrade and their adjustable track bar. And so far I really like it. It does drive and handle different than the stock Y-link suspension or steering. However, I feel safer and more confident in the response with this. It had a super winch by Smittybilt, 8,000 pound winch on it when I bought it. I've used Smittybilt in the past, have had really no problems with them. I think their line speed is adequate for what the recoveries that we'll be doing and for the situations I'll be using it in. It does currently have a synthetic rope on it. It came with a cable. It's got way too much rope, as you can see by looking at it, so I will be spooling it off and cutting some of that out so that it's not packed in there quite that tight. It also came with a Curry Enterprises anti-rock sway bar, which, to be honest with you, when riding on road, it is a little bit squishy, but when you're off-road, it's just incredible how well it works. Allows you to sway, but then when you get to a point, prevents you from going too far. So I really like it, and the trips I've taken off-road with it, I highly recommend everyone consider that on their vehicle. It's got also a rear tire swing carrier. I'm not positive who made this one. It was on it when I bought it. So far it's worked really well. I like the fact that it actually does have roller bearings inside of there, and they're greasable, so you can tighten it up to minimize how much swing it has, but it swings really nicely. When I bought it, also the guy I bought it from had this Besttop Trailtop. I like how it looks. I like how they work. We just did a video recently about how to install it, some of the features. So look for that. Things I have done to it since I got it is, and if the video is not out yet, it will be out shortly. I went ahead and rebuilt the engine because it had a really bad blow-by issue and was fouling cylinder number 6 on a regular occasion. So I had a 4.6 stroker built, which, as most of you know, they take the crankshaft out of a 258 4.2, put it in with the 4.0 head, gives it a longer stroke. They increase the compression. This also has a comp cam, their extreme 4x4 cam, which is giving it really some lower end power and torque. I still need to do a couple of additional upgrades to it. I need to upgrade the injectors. I want to upgrade the fuel pump. I'm going to upgrade the radiator and put a aluminum 2-core radiator in it. And then I've never heard of anyone really having issues with the transmission overheating on these things, but I'm contemplating putting a aftermarket trans cooler in it as well, just for a little extra protection. When I put the engine in, I went ahead and upgraded the motor mounts. Brown Dog Industries makes an aftermarket beefy motor mount that utilizes 7 bolts on the engine. Everyone I've talked to, everyone I've listened to and read about says when you put these strokers in, especially if you do all the recommended upgrades, and you get it so that it's pushing 300 foot-pounds of torque, they have a tendency under extreme throttle to rip out the bolts on the driver's side. Passenger side, they say usually are okay, but highly recommend upgrading at least the driver's side. I figured if I was doing one, I might as well do them both. So Brown Dog Industries doesn't sponsor us by any means, but I'm really a big fan of their design and their mounts, especially since on the driver's side, with the stock mount, you're limited on a lot of aftermarket exhaust manifolds that you can use because they just won't fit. However, the way these are designed is such that they can be used with pretty much any aftermarket manifold. So you could go ahead and put the, whatever you choose on there, be able to get to all the bolts and have everything fit. One of the other things I'm going to do is, I do have 488 gears in it currently, with the factory lockers. I am going to put the Rubicon adapter in it. There are times where the 4.8 gears and the 4-to-1 transfer case and first gear just aren't quite low enough, and there are other times where it's too high, so I have to shift it into second, going down some obstacles, going downhill. Otherwise you can get out and walk faster. So I'm going to do that. I like the additional low range and the ability to switch or to pick and choose which I want to use. Another thing I did put on it is I have a Wrangler air compressor. Currently I do not have a canister, but I will probably shortly be putting a canister in place as well. Mostly so that I can build up 80, 120 psi in the canister, and then it'll make airing up the tires faster. At the moment it takes about 2.5 minutes to go from 32 psi down to 16, and about 2.5 to 3 minutes to go back up, so per tire. So if I had a canister that I could just have pressurized, it would make that a lot faster. It does have an air raid spiral air system as well. It was on it when I bought it, so I couldn't tell you really if it has made much of a difference versus a stock setup, but I have no complaints. So far I think it works really well. Other upgrades I want to do is eventually I'm going to pull off the pucks and put longer springs in. Probably go with the Teraflex 5-inch springs. I understand the difference between short arm and long arm suspensions. I'm not a huge long arm suspension fan, so I will probably keep the short arms, just put a longer spring in, because right now I do find myself flexing out a little sooner than I would like, up and down. So having a longer spring I think would help out in situations like that. Other than that, I will eventually take out the back seat, put a deck in, put some drawers in there, put a fridge on top, do a couple of things that way to make this more overlanding friendly. I have no problem overlanding in it now, going out camping, four-wheeling, whatever, but having a drawer system in the back, especially since it's just me and Heather, we don't really have any kids that don't have vehicles of their own. Steven has a Jeep, Sterling has a Bronco, James is newly married and really has no interest in spending a lot of time out four-wheeling and camping. Jesse's kind of Steven's passenger or Sterling's passenger, wherever he needs to fit at the moment, and so I can afford to take out my back seat and make me more of a permanent overlanding situation, place to put tools and spare parts and things like that. So that'll be coming up sometime over the next year, most likely. Other than that, I'm really happy with it. I really love it. I've been a CJ fan my whole entire life. I've owned multiple CJs. I've had CJ7s, CJ5s, older ones, newer ones, lifted ones, stock ones. All in all, I really like the coil spring suspension on these, and it is a night and day difference, riding one of these versus an older CJ. So I look forward to going and using this, and I look forward to taking you along with me and the rest of the Rock Hugger crew. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Leave comments below. Let us know what you'd like us to do next, or places you'd like us to go and explore, videos that we can bring you. Thanks.